Good evening and welcome to tonight's state edition of Bearcat Sports Chat live from Buffalo Wild Wings in Bristol. This is Dylan Hutton along with Mark Carr. And on tonight's show we're going to be talking with Bearcat girls basketball along with swimming, wrestling. Along the way they're going to recap their seasons as well for us. And of course the girls getting ready to go to the quarterfinals tomorrow afternoon. We'll get ready for that game too, a little bit of a preview for that one. We'll first be joined by Alex Adkins, then swimming's Leah Mumpower and Cooper Gobble. Assistant Principal and Athletic Director Brad Harper. And then we're going to finish up with Coach Timmons and Senior Center Kerrigan Bailey of Lady Bearcat Basketball, again, before they head to that quarterfinal matchup against Chatham. Before we get going, we're going to be doing that raffle again tonight. So if you haven't got your raffle, come on up here and we'll get you a ticket at some point. During a break or something, we'll have that drawing here later on. But we'll go ahead and kick off the show now with Alex Adkins from wrestling. And Alex, thank you for joining us.
Happy to be here.
I believe it's Alex's second time on the show, so he's joining a group that's tough to get in with, right, Mark, to be on here two times. I mean, for football he was here, now back for wrestling.
You know, it's a very exclusive group, so consider yourself blessed, buddy.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so starting it off, Alex, your final wrestling season, of course, you're a senior. It was really one to remember for you. You finished as a region runner-up. You qualified for state. You placed sixth in state at 152 pounds in the VHSL tournament. What were your goals coming into the season, and what does your finish in state mean to you?
At first, I really didn't have any particular goals set. I just wanted to go out there and win and take it one match at a time, I guess. But as the season went on, it got closer to postseason time. I started realizing that I could really make a run at region champion and place high in state.
So what was your goal coming into the year? Do you feel like you met where you were wanting to go?
Well, I obviously wanted to go back to state and do as well as I could, and I felt like I did that. I improved from my previous year because I didn't place.
Like we mentioned before, you're part of that exclusive group who's been here for two times. And, I mean, this time, first time was for football, now for wrestling. What's something you use in both sports trait-wise, and what do you like about each?
You mean like how they're similar, like physically and stuff?
Well, just something that you do in both, I guess preparation or...
Yeah, basically.
What do you mean by, preparation, before matches?
No, not preparation, just the physicality of the sport. What are some things you take over from what you do in each sport?
Well, wrestling, one of the main reasons I started wrestling in the first place is because it helps you become a better tackler, and that's what Coach Schuler told me before I even started doing it. And I think it did help translate into my football career. On defense, you got to tackle, and wrestling is all tackling.
It's basically you start off in a tackle position, right? So
yeah.
When did you start wrestling, first of all? Did you start freshman year? Or
I started my freshman year, yes.
Okay, so to move on to that, you capped off your wrestling career with an 82-54 overall record. You went 28-11 this winter, so a great season. If you could describe to us your growth as a wrestler from your freshman year to this year, what you got better at and how hard you worked to get there.
Wrestling is a sport where you can't just come in and be great at it. You have to work at it, and the best guys in the sport are the ones who've been on the mat the longest. So I feel like from my freshman year to now, I've really improved a lot. It's just really hard to catch up to some of the guys who have been doing it their whole life. And that's why wrestling's a really great sport.
So compared to football, where would you rank wrestling as far as within your ranking of favorite sports now, since you kind of got that off your back? Of course, you still got soccer coming up, but out of those two?
Well, football is number one. I love football, and I've played soccer all of my life, so I guess it ranks third just because I really haven't done it for as long as I have other sports. But I don't really dislike it, though. It's up there, but
definitely helps you get better in each other sport, for that matter.
Yeah, you definitely have to be in shape to wrestle, 100%.
All right, Mark.
Now, talking about Coach Schuler, what kind of an impact did he have on your career?
Well, without Coach Schuler, I don't think I would have wrestled at all because I had quit basketball, and I wasn't really going to do anything in the offseason until he came and got me and my friend Matthew to come wrestle.
So he kind of drug you out of the woodwork, right?
Just some kid named Matthew.
Hey, it ended up paying off pretty good, I believe, for Coach Schuler. So
Yeah.
Worked out pretty good. So what was the best moment for you here in your senior season? What would you pretty much consider your top moment?
Placing in state as high as I could. It wasn't as well as I wanted, but I guess it is the top moment for me just because it's the farthest I've ever gone.
And what really, when did you realize that, hey, I've got a chance at getting to state? Was it early in the year? Did you have sort of a rough start, or what was it?
Around winter, when you start thinking about the rest of your season, and really, I guess after our tournament, the Ed Cresswell, is when I started really thinking about postseason and thinking, this is it. This is really my last month of wrestling that I'm ever going to have.
How much of a role does confidence play with wrestling? I know we talk about it a lot with basketball, getting on a roll, but with wrestling it's a little different. What's the difference in the way you're thinking coming off a loss in a match versus a win?
Well, wrestling, it's kind of easier to lose to somebody that you shouldn't. It's just, I don't know.
It's just really the one-on-one aspect of it, for that matter, right?
Yeah, and it's almost like it's the same thing every weekend, because it's the same guys going to the same tournament, just different schools, and you're facing the same people normally. So you kind of know, like, this guy wrestled a guy that I beat, so I should beat him. You know,
kind of go through the scouting of it all, kind of like football.
Yeah.
So you talk about the impact that Coach Schuler has had on your wrestling career. Can you give us your best imitation of Coach Schuler?
I don't know if I can give a good imitation, but I will sit up here and make fun of him for a little bit.
A little bit. We got plenty of time, you know.
One thing Schuler loves to do after practice, I think he just likes to hear himself talk sometimes. He'll say, all right, I want to say what I got to say and get out of there, but then 15 minutes later he's still telling us what we need to be doing and et cetera. What about the weekend coming up, the match coming up. Man.
So he's not at a loss of words. He's kind of like Mark is here for us, right?
I like to keep the flow, Dylan. We talked about this earlier. Go with the flow. That's all you got to do.
All right, so what else you got to say about Coach Schuler? You got anything else?
One thing about Coach Schuler that I thought was kind of funny, not at the time, but looking back on it, is before every tournament, every dual tournament, we would go and we wrestle as a team, and no matter how well we did after the first one or maybe sometimes the second one, we wouldn't do exactly how he would like, and he would let us have it just right after the first match, and after that it'd be all right. But the first match, if like one person would start out sluggish, he would scream at us. And
he was afraid.
At the time, it was like God, but now looking back on it, it's pretty funny, I think.
Just sort of driving you to get better, everybody as a team, even if just one guy messes up. So would you be saying these things if you had another year to go?
Yeah, I think I would.
You're not scared then of Coach Schuler then? Is he here tonight? I don't think he's here tonight, so if he's not listening, if he's listening online, he might be heading this way. Maybe. So that was your imitation, really, of Coach Schuler. It was really not really an imitation, but definitely some traits of Coach Schuler that maybe not a lot of people knew about. So, Alex, you're a senior. I'm going to ask the fun question because I have a feeling I'll give Mark the other one. If you could wrestle any football player, which one would it be?
Probably Lane.
It's always Lane.
Sometimes you just want to beat Lane down, you know? If not him, then Lance, and he's a wrestler, so.
Well, okay. You said you had another one. Was it Colton, you said?
Oh, yeah, I'd wrestle Colton. Sometimes I do in the locker room during school.
During school? It's like a tell-all over here in the first segment. Okay,
I think
so
Brad Harper's not here right now either.
Yeah, he'll be back. So what's next for you? You're graduating? Other than wrestling Lane Carroll in your downtime, what else? What's next for you?
I think we're going to play soccer, and I want to do really well in soccer. I think we can do really well as a team this year.
So getting started with that. Well, do we have any Ask Cats questions for? Oh, they didn't come through. Remember that you can tweet in questions to all of our guests on Twitter using the hashtag AskCats. Aren't you surprised? I mean, usually we get Lane going early. What's going on? But they'll be here. You might have dodged a bullet then. So let's give Alex a round of applause for coming out tonight and for his finish in state at 6th place. And we'll be right back. We'll talk to swimming's Leah Mumpower and Cooper Gobble right after this break.
Hi, I'm Dustin Lynch. You don't have to listen to country music to know that life can be full of drama. Some of it you just can't control, like your girlfriend running out on you with your best friend. But there's some drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
You just need to take that first step and find free classes near you and start moving towards a brighter future and even your college degree.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Bearcat Sports Chat, and now we're joined by swimming's Leah Mumpower and Cooper Gobble here for our second segment of our State Edition show. And go ahead and start off with a question really for both of you. Both boys and girls swim teams were champions in both the Southwest District and in the Region 2D, in the 2D region. Plus, both teams finished in the top 5 in the VHSL state meet. Girls finished 4th, boys finished 5th. Can each of you take turns talking about the journey each of your teams had from preseason to where you finished?
You know, our journey,
I think Alex had your mic turned off. There you go.
With swimming, it's obviously hard, and it's been a long journey, and we've had a great team to help push us through it, and a great coach to coach us up and teach us everything he knows. And so we've just worked basically, I've been working for, about 10 years since I've been 5. Our preseason started way early. So our preseason work, it's been hard, but it's been good. We've trained a lot, and we've had a great coach to help us do it, and glory to God that he's let us do this. So it's just guided us and helped us through it.
Now we'll take it over to Leah now. What would you say about your team's growth throughout the year?
Well, the girls' team, in the past few years, we haven't had a lot of girls. We've barely had enough for 2 relays. And this year we had a lot of new people. We had a lot of people who had never swam before, had little swimming experience, but we had a lot of team bonding, made a lot of new friends, a lot of new teammates, and in the end we worked really hard and we got 4th in state, so that was really good. I think
definitely
we did
a good finish for you all. And go back over to Mark. I think this was for Cooper.
Cooper, what a season for you this year. You know, you broke the record in the 100-meter butterfly during your 3rd place finish at state, helped your team place inside the top 7 and top 5 on team relays races as well. What does that record mean for you? And with all due respect to the relay team, what's the team dynamic of swimming?
I mean, that record really just means an opportunity for me to glorify God, and it just helps me show what I'm made of, basically. And the team dynamic with relays is you just rely on one another, and you do everything you can for the next man. So there's not much of a dynamic. You just trust and go at it.
It's really just competing to the best of your individual ability and hoping that everybody else just sort of toes the load. How much work goes into the relay as far as getting the timing right?
We put in a good chunk of time at the ends of practices to time up relays because you're with one person basically you're timing off of. And it's not necessarily all that hard, but it's just something you have to work at and get good at.
Kind of like passing off the baton and not quite that rough at swimming as it is in track, though.
Yeah, it'd be a tough dynamic. Imagine passing a baton in a swimming relay.
Swimming, that'd be rough with your head down. Maybe that'd make it challenging, wouldn't it? All right, let's go back over to Leah now. You finished 2nd at state in the 100-meter breaststroke, and you were named All-State for that. I believe it's separated up into divisions for that. You finished 4th in the 500 freestyle and helped lead your team to a 5th and 6th place finish in the